Greetings and welcome to the Power Gamer Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Dawson, joined as always by fellow hosts, Johnny Poulos and Kim Ponticello. Fellow hosts, welcome in. Let's start with you, Kim.
Yep.
How you doing?
Exhausted. I am so tired. I've been packing and packing and packing. I'm getting over. I'm like fighting off a cold that I refuse to admit I have. That's why my voice is a little bit raspy. And I'm tired because I've been packing and packing and packing because I officially have a date of December 30th that I'm moving to Europe.
Woo-hoo.
Very excited. And so we've been like just, looking at places and I've been packing and I've been going through this like process of getting out of the idea of keeping things for sentimentality's sake. I've literally been trying to just cleanse my life. And like, I have shit that's like, I don't know, why am I holding on to this? My grandmother kept it in a damn china cabinet and never used it a day in her life, but like, I'm still holding on to it. So it's just kind of stuff like that. Although I did find out that my grandfather's anniversary ring is worth like $700. So I think that's gonna throw that out there. Because I have no interest in keeping it. But yeah, I'm just like getting my grandmother's rings. On the other hand, she has a couple rings that I'm absolutely in love with, and I found out they're actually worth a pretty penny too. But I love them. Like I wear. As a matter of fact, check this out. This is a freaking ring. Isn't that crazy? Like this is my style. This is the kind of shit my grandmother wore, and I thought it was all junk, and then I started pricing it, and I was like, so I'm keeping it because I love these things. They're beautiful, and I wear them. But stuff like, I don't know, China and stuff like that, I'm getting rid of it.
Ironically enough, the very plain white gold band that I wear was my not technically my grandfather, but my grandmother's second husband's. He was the only grandfather figure I had on that side of the family, but it's a perfect fit. And yeah, when like the announcement all those years ago came that I'm going to get married, my mom goes, oh, I have this thing. Let me see if this thing works. And I'm like, all right, cool, because I'm not too much of a fashionista. I'm a very function over form kind of person. So she broke it out, and I was like, oh yeah, it goes on and comes out. Like it's not a tight fit; it's actually just a perfect fit. And I'm like, well,
awesome.
That works out. That's gonna get a second life, I guess. That's cool.
I mean, well, speaking of using other bands, I have amazing news. My not long ago, my son's girlfriend's parents gave him her grandmother's wedding engagement ring, which is beautiful. It's like from the 20s. And my son got engaged recently.
Whoa!
Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Yeah, I'm very, very excited for him. They decided they're gonna like do a vacation wedding. They're gonna get married in like Hawaii or something like that.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Well, congrats!
Super excited.
Congrats!
Thank you. Very excited. She is a gem. She is like, love her.
You're gonna be the mother-in-law.
Oh yeah, we get along great though. Like,
yeah,
I'm so not mother-in-law material. I am just like, I don't know.
You'd be like a dope mother-in-law. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Thanks. I mean, I'm not like mother-in-law. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. She's amazing. I think she's a beautiful girl, like inside and out. She's absolutely. I mean, I've told him a million times. I'm like, you are so fortunate, and he's like, I know. Like, she's awesome. So yeah, I'm super excited for him, and I've had people ask me like, oh, how do you feel about him going somewhere else and getting married? I'm like, it's their life. Like, they're not getting married for me. Like, they need to do what's going to make them happy.
Mm-hmm.
So go to Hawaii, go get married, have fun. Oh.
Yeah, my wedding day consisted of going to the Annapolis courthouse. From there, me and Amy went to the Social Security office so we could get all the silly business handled the same day. And then we had people, it was just family that came out to this thing. It was December 16th 2016, and it was 20 degrees outside
Ooh.
in Annapolis. So we had people over, and we ordered 2 large pizzas from Lido's, and that's how.
That's awesome.
It's the most Mike Dawson wedding of all time.
I mean, we're going to meet up at the courthouse in like December. We're all going to the courthouse to go like watch the paperwork be signed and stuff like that. And we're going to like, probably go to dinner or something like that. But it's definitely not going to be 20 degrees. It's going to be a very comfortable temperature here in December.
Yeah.
Because it always is. But yeah. And then
it's not in the mid-Atlantic vortex of winter.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then come December 30th, I am going to a place that is very freaking cold. And that's going to be very hard to get used to. The idea that 65 is like really hot.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to be so comfy. It's going to be 65 and I'm going to be like, wow,
I love the climate over there. It's great.
I'm very excited. Very, very excited. So.
Well, excellent news all the way around, Kim. Congrats, Johnny.
Yes.
Welcome in, sir.
Thank you.
How are you doing? How you doing?
I've been better. I wanted to inform the viewers of what's going on. I'll keep it brief because it's kind of a bummer. My wife has been diagnosed with cancer. So we're meeting with the oncologist team tomorrow to figure out what we're doing next. So we've had the biopsies and all that, but we still don't know stages or any of that. So, but it's really scary, and it's been like probably the worst month of my life.
Yeah. So we need positive vibes, everybody. Positive vibes, tons of them, please.
So yeah, that's the only time I'm going to think about it for the rest of the episode, and I just wanted to get that out there. But no, I mean, other than that, I've been all right. I've been gigging, I've been gaming a lot, and just doing my thing.
Positive vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing it's 2024.
Yes, I know.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
I know.
If you think about people our parents' age, like if they were going through the same thing at their point in life, things have come so far.
Mm-hmm.
They really have. And so it's the good of getting those screenings done at the magical age. You know what I mean? They find it and hopefully are able to take care of things before it gets out of hand. So
yeah, the thing I keep replaying over and over again in my head was I had a gig at Waterman's like a week ago, and the door guy, his dad is like a surgeon or something at Johns Hopkins, and he overheard me talking to my friend about this situation, and he goes, "How old's your wife?" And I said, "She's like 39." And he's like, "Well, the survival rate for people in their 30s with cancer is 90%."
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's fucking great.
I can roll with that.
The bummer is just the process sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's going to be a rough go, but I mean, I married an incredibly tough woman, and cancer's about to fuck around and find out, I think.
And not for nothing, but old Miss Dawson chimed in. Both your boys are going to her school this year. And she said, if you guys need anything, she's on their schedule and right around the corner from your house. So if you need a helping hand, hey, you got the two of us, but she's going to be right there. So
that's awesome.
We got you, boo boo.
Well, and that's what's really been overwhelming is just the amount of love and support that we've just been. I mean, people are bringing us food, and people are, we're already talking about maybe trying to put together some kind of like musical thing to, raise some money. I mean, it's just been awesome. So
cool.
Yeah, great community around us.
We should reconvene the band. It's been since, what was that? Let's Go Festival last summer.
Yeah.
Since the Johnny Poulos full band came out and did its thing. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
It's been too long. Well, all of our best thoughts, prayers for us religious folk coming your way. But yeah,
thank you.
Most important thing is it's 2024, as the Hopkins dude said. Right. Yeah, it's not as dark as it was at other points. So, hoping for the best statistically. I'm confident saying to you guys, yeah, it's going to be okay. It's just going to be fucking annoying. So
yeah. It just doesn't seem real, man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
but that's how it goes, man. That's life. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it sucks. You guys should be having fun with other things, not having to deal with that. So hopefully it gets handled swiftly.
Amen.
Yeah, I've been a vortex of work and music playing. I put together what I'm going to call a little bit of a super group of local musicians that got together for the first time last night. Really excited to put some more info out about that once we get the wheels turning, probably in about a month. That thing will be going in high gear, but oh my god, it's a 6-piece slide player, lead, drums, myself on bass, screaming vocalist who's super talented. She's great, and an organ player. Fuck
Hell
Pretty
yeah.
cool.
yes. Yeah, no,
Oh, yeah.
it's gonna be dope. So I've been spending a lot of time with that, and then work. I just wrote my first $500,000 proposal.
Oof.
Got that done. It's nuts. Like I've started adding up how much work I've done this year. My first year, like being a my title is sales, but it's a lot of pre-sales engineering for complex AV systems. And I've done 69 projects this year, and I'm taking on 2 next week. I'm going to Johns Hopkins on Monday to get them some upgrades, and then the same day to City Hall in Annapolis. So it's been nonstop. But that hasn't deterred me from playing my games and getting quite a lot done of late. So we have a lot to talk about in the gaming section. This is, after all, a gaming podcast. It's episode 165 of your Power Gamer podcast. We welcome you in wherever that you are listening to us or viewing us. If you're over on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel. We'd greatly appreciate it if you're checking us out on audio platforms, as most of you do, especially you folks over there in China. China.
Shout out to our China listeners.
What the
for
fuck?
real.
I didn't know
For real.
what you guys just are blowing me away with your ability to listen to a bunch of Americans talk about video games. Now, you better not be breaking any fucking laws, okay? I know your government's real strict about when you can play your video games, you minors over there in China. And I don't want none of you fucking around getting in trouble, getting disappeared by that government machine of yours. So, please, don't be listening to us if you shouldn't. I'm not responsible for you going to prison.
And do not call Xi Jinping Winnie the Pooh. Don't do it.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, that's bad.
He gets very mad.
Even though Winnie the Pooh is amazing. Just gonna.
It's true.
He's afraid of taking off his pants. That's why he can't commit to Winnie the Pooh. Anyway, welcome in. We're gonna watch our Chinese patronage just absolutely nosedive after that. Fuck. Welcome
Get
in.
canceled in China.
we see like a headline on Google News. It's just the picture of our 3 faces and how we're banned from fucking China for life. It's like, what?
Hey, you know what? That'd be good promo.
The most popular video gaming podcast in China has been banned from China.
Awesome.
What the fuck? Welcome in. It's episode 165. Let's stay on the bandwagon of things that make me want to beat myself in the face with a rock. If you've been listening to the show for any period of time, we've talked over the years, actually, about the Borderlands movie. Now, every time I've seen this, every time I've seen a trailer or anything about it or news about the cast, I get a quick glimpse of my brain from my eyes rolling back in my skull, because I always ask myself the question, when it comes to Borderlands, I'm genuinely curious who was asking for a B-list cast Hollywood AAA budget movie about Borderlands. Well, apparently some of you out there put out those vibes that this is what you wanted from Hollywood. You needed Kevin Hart and Jack Black, a comedy duo that's never done a movie before together that was excellent.
Both the Jumanji movies are awesome.
They are really good.
They're funny as fuck.
They're funny as shit.
Agreed.
They also suck, but again, who was asking for that? We have the Robin Williams one. You're not topping that.
Nobody said those are topping the Robin Williams Jumanji. Nobody said that, but they were funny as shit.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Nobody asked for them. But yet we got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Kevin Hart, and Jack Black. And I guess they couldn't pony up the money for The Rock for this Borderlands movie. But they did nonetheless march out a dilapidated cast of elders to play a young cast of characters from.
Do not talk about Cate Blanchett like that. Stop it.
Jamie Lee Curtis. God damn.
Fucking seriously, dude.
This is a cast.
Submerge her fucking name. What the fuck is wrong with? I'm out of here.
I mean,
I love Jamie Lee. She's one of my first crushes. My God.
There was a time when Sigourney...
You lost me at B cast. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, it's total B list. If Tom Cruise is on the A list, which he is the A list, you have to be of that level, that caliber. So, like, the Tom Cruises, the Leonardo DiCaprios, the
tooth in the middle of his mouth. Stop it.
Yeah, A list. Anyways, this might have actually aided the Borderlands movie here because I've gotten both of my fellow hosts all worked up into a frenzy here.
You don't talk about Jamie Lee like that.
My
or
venomous
Cate Blanchett.
Yeah,
or Cate Blanchett.
Their better years are behind them. But anyways, the Borderlands movie is loose. The reviews are out. Johnny, you're very excited for this movie as it was developed and as it came forth, and you loathed some of my comments about wanting to murder myself versus having to sit and watch this thing. I'm just curious, what day and time are your tickets for this movie?
Okay, so first off, I am a big believer in Rotten Tomatoes. Okay, I have made plans with friends to go see a movie, and then while we're sitting at the bar about to go buy our tickets, pull up the score on Rotten Tomatoes and go, oof, never mind, we got to pick another one. When a movie has a literal 6% on Rotten Tomatoes, I'm not going to see it in movie theaters. Like, if the MCU released a movie that had a 6%, I would have second thoughts about going to see it. The scores alone killed it for me. There's no way this movie is going to be any good. But
it has Cate Blanchett and Jamie Lee Curtis.
I know.
How could it be bad? They're A-list actors.
Agree. I fully agree. I agree with every word you said, sarcastically. But I agree with them unironically. I saw the cast, saw who was directing it. Eli Roth has done quite a bit of good movies. I was excited about this movie. I was silver linings. Hey, let's wait till it comes out. But 6% on Rotten Tomatoes. I am out. Not interested. I'll watch it on streaming when I don't have to pay any money for it. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, until streaming services come up with a way to compensate me for watching something.
Watch this movie for $5. We'll give you $5 to watch.
My time definitely need more than $5 for an hour of my time to sit and watch whatever this thing is.
This is a movie that I look. Do I love Jamie Lee and Cate Blanchett? Yes, I love Jack Black as well.
Same.
But I said from the beginning this movie was going to be really fucking bad. I knew it from the beginning. I knew it was going to be horrible. Do I trust the 6%? I don't, because I do feel like the Rotten Tomatoes people probably have no idea about Borderlands. So I think but the audience score is 48%, So, but I definitely would not go to the movies to see it. And I knew I wouldn't either, but it's definitely something like, much like my beloved Slaughterhouse, it's something that I will watch with my community.
Yeah.
And we'll get a good laugh out of it. You know, that's how I feel. Birdemic, Slaughterhouse, like, you know, these are the things that we like to watch and just get a good laugh at. And that's going to be one of them.
I'm sure you're both familiar with the show Hot Ones.
Mm-hmm.
The interview series where people sit down and eat progressively spicy wings as they
love Hot Ones.
Mhm.
It's some of the best interviewing.
Agreed.
Vince Vaughn, his episode, was really good. Really, really
Was
good.
it?
Yeah.
I hear he's a major douche to work with.
I've heard the same thing, but
Yeah.
During his interview on Hot Ones, he described the problem with Hollywood, the problem with movies, and articulated it in a way that I've not been able to. But basically describes that the problem with Hollywood is they're so afraid of taking risk with new IP that
Yep.
literally the pitch will be, what IP should we make a movie about? You know, he was asked about the decline of R-rated comedies, which, yeah, they used to be out everywhere. And it's like, well, the IP for this comedy is a boy's in love with a girl and doesn't know how to talk to her. Or the IP about this movie is there's a bunch of kids sitting in detention and they things happen. He's like, now it'll be like the IP is, let's make a movie about Mr. Fucking Clean and just run with it because it has to have an IP. We can't just make an original movie. And yeah, I've really stopped liking movies because everything is everything is iterative. Everything feels like it has to be based on something from our demographic's childhood. Nothing's new. Nothing's original. Like, every movie that's come out this year is fucking either a sequel to something that came out in like the 90s, or it's an IP that no one's asking for. And it's just been this trend. And yeah, so it sucks that they're, you know, the trend has fallen in targeted video games where I think what's happened was we used to get such bad video game movies 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That when we must have IP crew of Hollywood started doing video game movies and they were okay, you know, the gaming community said, oh my God, this is actually watchable. And they've taken that as messaging of, oh, we should make more movies like this. It's like, no. Did you see the Mila Djokovic fucking Resident Evil movies? They're terrible. Okay.
Oh, so
we
bad.
just watched those recently
Did
because
you
Spike had never
see
seen them.
the live action Super Mario Brothers movie? It's fucking dog shit.
I did not. Wait, which one? The new one?
No, the live action one from like 90.
Oh wait, that was like John Leguizamo, right?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
so
it's so bad. It's so funny though. It's so bad.
So like that was where the bar was. And then they're like, well, let's get fucking Tom Holland to play Nathan Drake. And people were like, well, it's watchable. Yeah, you know, it's okay. Oh, let's go all in and make a fucking Borderlands movie. Like, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So what I find interesting is, as somebody who I watch movies every weekend, we watch quite a few movies, and because that's like our only real time together. And it's so weird because I kind of have the same feeling about movies as I do with games right now. And that is, these small indie developers are creating some really fucking fantastic movies. And meanwhile, these bigger, you know, companies are coming out with shit. But the small companies are coming out with some really fucking bangers, you know, and I find that really interesting because I feel like it's the same exact thing with games right now. There are so many amazing indie games that are coming out. And meanwhile, AAA is just struggling to come out with original and good and runs well. And, you know, so it's really interesting.
That's a really interesting topic that you bring up. Connecting those dots. Because, yeah, with movies, it's like less are being made than ever. Right? But they're worse than ever. You know, because there's nothing original. Everything is a reboot or it has to latch onto some IP. And like, that's the problem with the movies. And games, like it has some of those problems, but the biggest problem with games is twofold. That AAA games have gotten so fucking bloated that they take 8 years to make. You know, the original Uncharted series, we got all 3 games of the PS3 generation.
Yeah.
Look at The Last of Us. Look at Horizon. You know, these things, you get 1 per generation. So they're fewer and further between for like the big quality games. But then there's way too many fucking games. That's the stark difference. Is like over in movie land, there's just not a lot of movies. But with games, there's like an overwhelming amount of games. And, you know, there's the old saying of the cream always rises to the top, but it's like, man, there's too much. It can't even happen in games right now. It's just so oversaturated. Like if you go digging, you'll find more great games than you know what to do with. But there's also just like this wave of just shit that is insurmountable feeling. Yeah, it's interesting how the two are similar in that way. Speaking of good things coming to an end, I don't normally feel genuine sadness over any news that I read.
Yeah.
But somebody took the wind out of my sails this week. And somebody happens to be GameStop. So, GameStop, through a long series of acquisitions, ended up with Game Informer when they were on their big buying spree of all the game stores, you know, Babbage's, Electronics Boutique, et cetera, they ended up with Game Informer. And Game Informer has remained an in-print video game magazine from the glory days that has run its course officially at this point. Because completely out of the blue, with no warning to anyone, none of the staff at Game Informer, of course, they have pulled the plug. They shut down the website. Just out of nowhere, Game Informer has come to an end, which is so sad for me because like I'm still subscribed to that bitch. Are you gonna refund me for the magazines I'm not getting, you dicks? Probably not. I don't care. I just want Game Informer to still exist, and now they don't. I'm very sad about that. Of course, I'm the guy that's still getting the monthly magazine sent to my house, but you know, I like the old way. The old way is great. You know, you get that cover, very big deal. And I've been involved with Game Informer since the mid 90s. So East Coasters, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. There used to be this video game chain called Funkoland. And Funkoland was great. Funkoland was the coolest place to go buy games back when I was a kid because they focused on used games. They gave fair prices for trade-ins and they sold games relatively cheap. My copy of Chrono Trigger is from the Funkoland that was in Annapolis next to the Circuit City. And the coolest thing with Funkoland was how they did their pricing. They didn't put prices on anything on the floor. No. They had a newspaper that they made that you would go into their store and pick off the counter. And it would have every game listed for all the consoles and the price that the game was that month. And they would update their pricing, you know, once a month or so. But they also had their very own gaming magazine, and its name was Game Informer. Game Informer, for those unacquainted, began as Funkoland's in-house gaming magazine. That's where it got its start. So
I didn't know that. That's cool.
So if you wanted Game Informer, you went to Funkoland and you grabbed it off the shelf, and you know, you bought your game, you snag your Game Informer, and you go home, and you know, you've got your newspaper, so you can start planning out, you know, how you're saving up your allowances to go get your next game, and you read your Game Informer, and it was awesome. So yeah, I've got a lot of great memories with the magazine. I've been subscribed to it for a ridiculously long time, and I'm pretty bummed that something that integral to my childhood that links back to all the way back to Funkoland has finally met its end. So, Johnny, Kim, not sure if you guys have any connection to Game Informer like I do. I mean, I was even still living on their website. Like, it was my favorite, but it's gone.
I mean, I was subscribed to it here and there over the years for sure, and it's a sign of the changing times. Magazines aren't doing what they used to do, but there is kind of that magical feeling when there was a game you were excited about and you saw the preview for it in last year's issue, and then now it's on the cover. They have the review, right? Like before there was the internet, before you could let's see what every video game website thinks about this video game. It was you'd open your mailbox and be like, oh shit, they have the review for that game that comes out next month. And yeah, it sucks to see it go. The thing that really surprised me is the fact if they wanted to save money, why wouldn't they just cut the printing part of it? I feel like that would be the expensive part. Just keep it as a digital zine, but maybe not.
So the thing with Game Informer is there's no way Game Informer was running in the red. It's miraculous that they could put a magazine of that quality out every month with a staff as small as theirs.
Right.
Yeah, and so did it cost things to print? Yeah, probably, but it was also like your very own propaganda machine for your video game store. So I think it's really just a sign of GameStop struggles. But the flip side is I'm like, man, they couldn't have been really losing anything off that. But yeah, no, I guess it's just we know where GameStop's going. They're gonna be gone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
in a matter of time.
I mean, I moved to El Paso, what was that, January of 2021? And when I moved is when I got rid of my Game Informer magazines. I had like a couple big stacks of them. And I loved it. I loved getting them. Because, I have a weird paper thing too. I like how magazines sound and I like how papers sound.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was so fun to get it because I'd flip through and get to read all the articles and see what games were coming and what games were failing and what games were succeeding. And I held on to all of them. And then when I moved out here, I was like, all right, I'm not going to bring these with me across country. Let me get rid of these things. And I did. And yeah, so I loved my Game Informer. I really like Game Informer a lot. It was, I don't know, I used it in a couple of my university courses too for writing.
And it was always a satisfying read. It was kind of big, and like the pictures were always like it seemed like it was pretty high quality paper. I mean, it was just
marketing was very good. It's why I used it in my marketing courses. I used a lot of the Game Informer, like a lot of things from Game Informer and marketing on how they always seem to pick the right text, and I had to take a whole course in magazine format. And so I used them because their format was always so fantastic. There was not one magazine I picked up and said, oh God, this format's horrible. They were always so top quality. So I used them in so many of my courses, my marketing courses, my magazine course, my graphic design course. I used Game Informer for so many of them. So yeah, it's, it's, sign of the times, I do wish they would keep up like a website though. Like that'd be pretty awesome. But
yeah, it seems weird that they pulled the whole thing.
The best resource for upcoming game releases. It was organized so perfectly, nice and clean. I would share that link with both of you, Johnny, for years. This is the best spot to go to keep track of upcoming game releases and what's what. So yeah, no, it sucks. Wesley LeBlanc has been one of my favorite writers in the last era of Game Informer. So yeah, when I saw the news, I sent him a message and said, basically this sucks, but you're so talented. Like I'm sure people are going to be falling over to give you an opportunity. He acknowledged it, which was cool. I've not ever written to him before, but yeah. So hoping all the best for Wesley, of course, and everyone else who worked there. First issue, Sonic the Hedgehog. Last issue, Dragon Age, The Veilguard. It's a pretty good run, I guess. So Rest in peace, Game Informer. You are no more. You're gone, and with you, all the great U.S. print gaming magazines from the golden era are officially dead. In better news, id Software continues doing cool stuff with their core classics. No better person to fill you in on what's going on than our own Johnny Poulos, who made a nice post about it over on our X account, the website formerly known as Twitter.
It's Twitter. It's Twitter.
It was.
It will always be Twitter.
Just like
I'm never gonna.
There was Game Informer.
Always be Twitter.
There was Twitter.
It will always be Twitter.
Same. Yeah. So, QuakeCon is this weekend, and they were firing on all cylinders right from the jump. So they did basically the same thing that they did already with the line of Quake games, where for people that aren't aware, if you owned Quake at any point in time on Steam, last year they released a massive upgrade where it's like, we've re-upped the UI, we've fixed this, we've fixed that. Multiplayer is now built into the game. You don't have to like go to a server browser like we used to have to back in the day. They now have the same thing for Doom and Doom 2. You can right now just fire up your copy of Doom that you probably own on Steam and fucking play multiplayer. It's pretty awesome. But on top of that, they've added widescreen support built in. It's got all new UI for everything. There's remix soundtracks for most of from what I've found in Doom 1 and Doom 2, it's full recorded, like, you know, we all know the Doom riff, but it's the Doom riff with a real guitar. The moment I fired it up, I was like, all right, Doom 1, new game, hurt me plenty, start. And it's like a fucking real band. Dude, I'm so in. And then, so on top of all of that, they've also packaged with the game several of the best Doom mods over the years. They're already there.
Doom mod, Bob Shua, Doom. Sorry, I'm so
Doom mods. No, so there's a bunch of Doom mods. Like the best ones over the years are built in. And then on top of all of that, they collaborated with Machine Gun Games, one of the top modders for Doom, and there's a whole new episode of Doom added in. It's all there. And if you ever owned Doom or Doom 2 on Steam, check your Steam library. You now have Doom and Doom 2 are now together. And this is something that they could have very easily put a new label on it, said, here it is, $40, it's the Doom and Doom 2 pack, and blah, blah, blah. They didn't do any of that shit. Same as they did with Quake and Quake 2. They just said, if you own it, you now have all this cool shit. You can just fire it up and go to town. And then I got curious. I was like, well, so what's the online, like, for cheap price right now if I didn't already own it on Steam and I wanted to get nostalgic? I found codes for this for $1.74. If you don't own Doom or have never played Doom, you probably should. It still holds up. It's still really awesome. And by the way, I played a little bit of the new episode because I've beaten every Doom game, every single one that's ever existed. I've beaten one. And the new episode of Doom, the official one from id Software, has new enemies. I haven't found any new weapons yet, but there are new enemies, new assets, new fucking cool, man. It's really fucking cool. And I wish, I know I've already had this rant with the Quake thing, but I wish more companies would go this avenue. Far too many go, they slap a little bit of fresh coat of paint and they go, it's the remaster, it's $50. And id Software doesn't do that. If you own it, thank you for buying our product. We continue to fucking keep it going and keep updating. And, you know, by the way, now there's multiplayer built right into the game. You can just, if you want to play Doom Deathmatch right now, you can just open the game and do that. That's fucking awesome. So cool. Good on you, id Software. As always, keep it up.
Indeed.
Give me Quake 6, goddammit.
6? Wait, did we ever get 5?
No.
Okay. In other news, I do keep seeing that Valve has something in development that is confirmed in development, but it is unconfirmed as to what it is.
It's got to be Half-Life. It fucking has to be, right?
Do they even know?
I mean, Alex is on sale right now.
Oof.
Speaking of video games, it's time for the games we want to talk about. I've kind of slightly modified the name of it because we've been on a 3-week gap since the last episode, just because.
Was it 3 weeks?
It's been 3. Yeah, I mean, there just hasn't really been shit going on. In games, it's been really tough to write episodes out of absolutely nothing. So yeah, I've kind of like, well, all right, it is literally slow season, and the floodgates are about to open up with game announcements and things for Q4. So yeah, it's been a minute. So this week I'm calling it the games we want to talk about because, yeah, I would imagine in 3 weeks' time, especially with the two of you, that we would have quite meaty lists to get through. So I wanted to give you the out if you've just been playing something that maybe you don't necessarily want to talk about it. You don't have to. Normally we go through everything that we've been playing. So yeah, it's going to be the games we want to talk about. Now my list is super short. So I'm going to still not want to talk about all 3 of them. But I'll get the little ice break in here first this week. So Kim, you will be pleased. I have 1 mission left to do in Dead Island 2, and I will have it wrapped up. Yeah, me and Mandy have been having a great time with it. It's really good, and it runs fantastic on the Xbox Series X. I'm playing it there, and it runs great. So why can a third-party game get performance out of that console that looks amazing, but none of the first-party studios can?
They did a great job with that game. They really did.
It's beautiful. It's very fun to play, though. Yeah. The melee combat in that game is better than, obviously, the first Dead Island. And, yeah, it smokes Dying Lights also. The Dying Light still has the movement advantage, but, yeah, this is more just a beat the shit out of everything and crack jokes kind of atmosphere. It's not super long. It's really well done. It's a lot of fun to play. Especially with someone else. I know I'm having way more fun playing it co-op than I would be by myself. So give Dead Island 2 a look. Just remember the following. Number 1, you can get it on Game Pass. Number 2, it has no cross-platform support of any kind. No 2 systems will talk together on this, so you have to be playing together, which is why I'm playing it on my Xbox, because otherwise I would just buy it on PlayStation, but I want to have a friend to play it with. So yay Game Pass for this one. Next up, I've been playing a classic that I sadly have never actually beaten before. I played it quite a bit over at a friend's house when I was in high school, but yeah, I didn't have my own PlayStation 2, so I've been working through the original God of War.
Hell yeah.
For PS2. PlayStation 2, I'm actually going to be really focused on up until the release of Star Wars Outlaws. So you're going to be hearing about a lot of PS2 games until I get my mitts on that. Because in the 2000s, I don't know, I was really put off by the early 3D graphics. Like the first time I saw Mario in 3D, I was like, wow, that looks like fucking shit. I don't want anything to do with that. And I just leaned into playing PC games. And I basically missed the entire PS2, GameCube console generation because I was only playing on PC. So I have a lot of blind spots on the PS2 that I need to go back and rectify. And so I'll be doing a lot of that. This game's fucking fantastic. And holy shit, it like runs at a beautiful, mostly 60 frames per second. The graphics are really fucking good. It feels great to play. I'm playing it on my big, fat, gigantic 4x3 Sony Trinitron, my PS2 Slim, on my transparent blue DualShock 2 controller. and I'm having a blast with it. So really, really good game. One of the all-time greats. One game of the year that year because Capcom didn't show up, and you had to go to the show if you wanted to win the GOTY that year. So they were able to rob it from Resident Evil 4, but certainly still a game worthy of the title. Little fun fact I wasn't aware of with God of War. I listened to David Jaffe a lot. He's these days he's a big online personality. He's got podcasts about gaming, podcasts about politics. He's fun for me to listen to. Jaffe is like an absolutely psychotic, extremist left-wing talking figure. And I always like listening to the extremists on either side because it's very opposite of my mostly central stance on things. So I have fun with that. And I knew David Jaffe because David Jaffe, of course, was the creator of the Twisted Metal series. I, however, did not know until I cracked open my game manual that, yeah, he's the creator of God of War also. So,
yeah,
pretty fucking dope. I'm like, oh, I listen to him all the time. I was just thumbing through my manual. I'm like, oh shit, this was Jaffe also? Fuck, I didn't know that. But yeah, I missed that whole generation. So I guess it makes sense I didn't know. So good stuff with God of War. Lastly, I don't know if you guys had anything you wanted to say about God of War. I'm pulling like titles out from 2005. So
no,
God of War is another video game franchise that I have beaten every single one of them, even the PSP titles. I have beaten every God of War.
nice.
God of War is the shit.
Yeah, I'm trying to have that background.
I never played God of War until recently.
I'm trying to have that background because I really enjoyed the two new ones.
They're all great for what they are and for when they came out.
There's a lot of boobs.
There's a lot, yeah, especially in the early ones.
Just
there's a lot of boobs.
Women do not care for shirts in these games, and which is totally fine. I'm just like, but thinking back to 2005 and how prudish the United States was back then, I'm like, holy shit, I didn't even hear about that back then. Parents must have been losing their fucking shit when they came in, and little Timmy and Troy are looking at the Oracle's titties flopping out from her shirt every time she turns. I'm like, holy shit, guys. You guys are doing this on PS2? I had no idea. I would have bought one sooner.
Yeah, there's a lot of titties in that game, for
sure. Finally, a game with absolutely zero boobs.
Ew.
Death Stranding. I have completed Death Stranding. Okay. So I had an interesting life cycle with the game because I played it for a bit, kind of fell off it, and then I went, you know what? It's Kojima. I don't want to have like a string of games that I'm falling off of right now because I kind of fell off Kingdom Come. I'm like, I've got to regroup. Which game was I having the most fun with? Death Stranding. Okay. It's kind of mindless to play. I'm like, yeah, you just walk around and hit X on a terminal and deliver a package, and that's the game. Because that's the impression the game gives you of what it's going to be, basically for the first 10 hours of the game. This game goes fucking all in. It gets wild real quick, and it's like one of those exponential ramps that you're totally not expecting for it just to start, for you to start fighting like kaiju sized fucking monsters with a quadruple rocket launcher. All right. And I not only kaiju sized monsters, but then like BTs that are like 5 stories high that like dudes are controlling and shit. Like,
don't say, I know nothing.
And none of the words.
I literally know nothing about Death Stranding.
None of the words I said are going to make any sense to you. I'm totally keeping it spoiler free.
I don't want to know how big and crazy things are. I don't want to know.
Fucking nuts, guys. Okay. But
you're going to be excited because I have a community channel point thing right now. So for those of you who don't know, on Twitch, chat can use channel points that they accrue while watching on a challenge. Like my streamathon was a community challenge. And I have 2 choices right now. One is 13 hours of Death Stranding, and one is 13 hours of Red Dead Redemption 2.
Now, is it anything that I could throw? I think I have 450,000 channel points on your channel.
You can only do 2,000 at a time. So 2,000 once per day.
Or I can break open my
so
wallet.
Far, or you could break open your wallet. So far, Death Stranding is winning.
Well, that's good. Yeah, because like Red Dead, you should just play that. Nobody should have to.
I mean, I will. I'll play that
nobody
anyway.
Should have to pay you to play Red Dead. But like,
well, no, this is going to be a 13-hour
Death Stranding. Like, yeah, you can get. You might need your arm twisted a little bit to stick with it. But I think even just like that core mechanic of delivering packages and like the terrain being the enemy, like that feels like it's going to be the whole game. It's not. It's always there. But one thing you'll notice, and this isn't a spoiler, one thing you'll notice when you're looking at the missions that you can pick up from the terminals, right, is that some of them have a golden strand in the title. It's kind of faint running in the background. And that is Kojima's way of telling you this is the golden path. And if you do this mission, you will progress the main story. So when I came back to it, I said, well, time is the biggest issue. Let me just focus on these golden path missions and push forward. And I mean, within no time, just all this crazy shit starts going down. And his storytelling is really good, where he'll throw the player into a world and the world will talk to you like you know everything that's going on. It presumes there's no like tutorial break or here's a recap of what's happening in the world of Death Stranding. That's not Kojima's style. But he never hangs you out to dry. And this game has just got the perfect bow on it. Where you don't walk away confused about fucking anything in this game.
Okay.
Oh, that's really good to know.
You don't walk away confused, and you are getting hit with stuff left and right as you're in that first 10 hours where you're like, what the fuck are these guys even talking about?
It's my biggest gripe with what I've played so far is that I have no idea what the fuck we're doing or why.
Perfect. Which means you haven't missed anything yet. You get it framed out beautifully. Okay. It's really good. It's I mean, it's Kojima, so like this doesn't need to be said, but like I just feel like people weren't talking enough about what this game is, that it's not just a walking simulator, because that's what most people describe it as. And they don't tell you that it has a story that should be talked about at the same level as like a Horizon Zero Dawn. That is, in some ways, is even more mind-blowing what they pull off. And it's just so expertly crafted, and all the pieces fall together all at the right time to form the perfect picture at the end. You're going to need some fucking tissue boxes, girlfriend. I mean, Jesus Christ almighty. It nails it. Just, you should never doubt Hideo Kojima. Ever.
Damn, I need to fire it back up. You sold me.
It's
I just got to do the golden path. That's it. That's all I need. That's all I needed to know.
And if you want at the end of it, again, this isn't really a spoiler, but if you want at the end, you can just go play Delivery Boy. Like if that's what you want to do and you just want to lean into that, you totally can. You don't have to do it from the start. No magical walls pop up at any point that stop you from doing things. There's a great fast travel system in the game that reveals itself. So there's no pain to this game at all. Pro tip, when you get the ability to build the zip lines, everywhere you go, just start setting up that network of zip lines. Because then once you get where you're going and you inevitably have to go back, guess what?
You got a zip line.
Oh my God, and they're so good.
That's pretty cool.
So by the time I finished the game, I had a zip line that went all the way across fucking the entire continent of North America. It was so dope. So I could start at one end and just fucking for 10 minutes ride this bitch to the other end. It was so cool. Oh my god. Love this game. Really, really good. Really well done. So that's what I've been playing this week. My goodness, you two.
Yeah.
I'm gonna flip a guitar pick on this because heads is.
I choose turtle.
You choose turtle. Okay. The answer is turtle. So,
Yay.
would you like to go first, or would you like to defer?
I'll go first. On your recommendation in the last episode, I have tried Prodeus, Prodeus. This is a very cool, old school, pixely, sprite-based shooter with really cool lighting and effects. So it's a very interesting mix of old Doom graphics meets modern post-processing. I am 9+ hours into it. I feel like I'm probably about 2/3 or 3/4 through. The weapons are a lot of fun. My favorite thing about it and why I keep coming back to it is it has that same thing that Doom has where it's a lot of levels. But the levels take like 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 6 minutes, 4 minutes. They're like, so it's the perfect, like, I've got a couple minutes to kill real quick. Let me just fire up and do another level. It's not a game that I'm like losing myself for days at a time. I don't wake up the next day and be like, oh my God, I got to play more Proteus. But when I've got a few minutes to kill, it's the perfect game to just fire up and play. So any fans of like old school first person shooters, check out
We call
Proteus.
them
It's pretty
boomer
awesome.
shooters, Johnny.
Boomer shooters? Okay. It's definitely a boomer shooter. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag has been completed as of today. I rolled credits this evening.
That's a big one.
I think this is going to land in my top 3 for Assassin's Creed games. I really, 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 really fucking like this game a lot. I don't know if I'm ready to put it over Valhalla yet, but it's teetering there. I think Assassin's Creed is like universally considered the best. Assassin's Creed 2, rather. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is something new entirely, and it's I feel like it's the first time they finally nailed like the true open world. Like you feel like you can get in your ship and go wherever the fuck you want, and you're gonna find something to do. Ultimately, that something to do is kind of a collectathon because that's what open world games are. But this game's a hell of a lot of fun. I rolled credits and immediately hopped back in my ship and went back to doing assassin contracts and like so. I'm still. I know I'm going to be playing this game for a while still.
Well, like time and place when that game came out, like it's nuts.
So incredibly ahead of its time. Yes, and for how old it is, it doesn't feel dated. Like the only thing that feels dated about this game is some of the jankiness in relation to movement and character movement. Sometimes he'll jump where you don't want him to go. Like, you know, you feel like you're going to go post to post to post to post, and he'll go post to post and then jump off into the water. Shit like that'll drive you crazy. But outside of that, the game's still really pretty to look at. The voice acting is great. The characters are good. The story's awesome. I fucking love this game. And if you're into pirates and you've never played it, if you're into Assassin's Creed and have never played it, Assassin's Creed Black Flag gets a big old recommend. I really, really enjoyed it. You guys will laugh at this. Dragon's Dogma 2, which I had not played for probably a month and a half. I was 45 minutes or so from beating. I literally was like, I gotta get back into Dragon's Dogma 2 real quick. And like, so I did. And then that gigantic kaiju thing you see in the trailer, like the huge suit of armor walking out of the water. I see that dude and I fight him, and then some other shit that happens, and then credits. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know I was that close to beating it. Ultimately, I did kind of soften on this game. I know when I first played it, I was like, I think it's contender for Game of the Year. I don't think that anymore. It is kind of dated in its own charming way. If you've ever played Dragon's Dogma 1, that's what Dragon's Dogma 2 is. They've elevated it a little bit. They've tweaked it a little bit. I do still recommend the game. I think it's fun. But you know, it's not. I'd say it's like a 7.5, not a 9. But I enjoyed it. I had fun with
A
it.
lot of people kind of echo that lukewarmness on
Right.
it. So yeah, and it
Right.
doesn't speak well to something that, the best games, when you get that scent of the end, and then you can't stop playing it. Like Death Stranding had that for me. You just can't
Yeah.
stop. So yeah, that's really weird that you would be 45 minutes in and not have the scent that you were there.
I had no idea
so
that I was
weird.
that close to the end. Yeah, no. I literally sat down
And
and I
then
was
there
like,
are-
"Oh shit, it's done." Okay.
Then there are games like that damn Ad Infinitum that we thought was going to be over in 45 minutes, and it took me 3 more damn hours to
Oh
beat
my
it.
god, dude! Tales of Arise, they just tacked an extra like 15 hours into that game. I also took part in the Marvel Rivals closed beta. That game continues.
Oh, me too.
That game continues to be fucking awesome. And I think it actually could be the Overwatch killer. I really do. This game is fucking sick. I can't play enough of it. It's just amazing.
It's not Concord.
No, it's definitely not Concord. I also picked up the Rogue Prince of Persia. I've only done like two or three runs in that game, but oh my god, the art
soundtrack
style,
is so good.
the soundtrack,
Such a good game.
There's few game genres are more satisfying than a really, really, really tight Metroidvania style game, and this nails that, man. When you die, you know why you died. You should have hit that button and you didn't. It's never like, oh, I didn't want him to do that. It is so tight. So tight. Didn't play much of it, but I'm really enjoying it. And also, I am taking advantage of the Xbox acquisition of Activision. I feel like I missed out on the last few Call of Duty games because I didn't want to spend $70 just to play the campaign. But Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is now installed on my PC, free of charge, baby. And I'm playing through that campaign, and oh my fuck, is it super, super ironed out. The cinematics, the voice acting, the facial animations. I mean, this shit is top
I love their
tier.
campaigns.
Their campaigns are always so good, and so I'm glad that I get to play them now because I just those games never really go on like a sale where I would, like the cheapest you ever see really a Call of Duty game is like $40, and I don't want to spend $40 on a campaign that's probably 5 hours, 8 hours, whatever it's going to be. But it's on Game Pass. I fired it up, and I enjoyed it for a couple evenings. I'll probably beat it this week, but dude, it's really, really well ironed out, and I mean, it's Call of Duty. It's the biggest fucking video game franchise on the planet. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty tuned in, and it definitely feels AAA and awesome. So I'm enjoying the campaign a lot.
Very good. Kim, that brings us to you.
Yes.
And your list.
Once again, many games that nobody's ever heard of. So, except for Once Human, I've been playing that at night. I haven't been streaming it because I have so many other games I've been covering, but I've been still playing Once Human at night. The season ends in 9 days, and I'm curious to see what the next season brings, and I'm still loving it. It's like my relax game. I go in, I do some side quests. I still haven't finished the main quest. But I'm enjoying it. No, I'm still not wearing pants. As a matter of fact, we did a big boss raid, and the people, like, there's voice chat in the game, and the people there who were fighting with us were commenting on the fact that I was not wearing pants and have a gigantic red hand on my ass.
The booty's out of control.
And
I mean,
the booty is out of control. We baked some cakes. Yep. So yeah, Once Human, I'm still having a great time.
Pumpkins in there.
Yeah, it's gigantic. Dave the Diver, I played for about 5 hours today. Today was Dave the Diver day. And I love that damn game.
Yeah, it's so
like,
good.
It's just so chill and so relaxing and so good and so fun. And I don't know, I'm loving it. So I just got to chapter 3. I got to chapter 3 today, and I'm really enjoying it a lot.
Man.
A lot.
Yes. The thing that's mind-bending about it is how good the story is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so today I got to see a little bit of the background of what's his face? Oh my god, I can't remember the guy who the chef.
Oh yeah,
Boncho.
Boncho. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to learn like a little bit of his story today. And it's great. I don't know. The game is like so endearing, you know?
He has the best animations, by the way, when you like learn a new recipe. It's the
So
fucking
good.
best, dude.
With the salt. It's such
So
a good
good.
game. So yeah, I played a good 5 hours of that today.
Don't forget to feed the cats.
Yes, feed the cat every day.
Yes. Yep, feed the cat. Yep. Okay, so I played a game called Terrascape. It's a city builder, but very different. You basically build a city using hexagons, and you piece together hexagons to make other things. So like if you put together 3 hexagons of wheat in a certain position, then you create an entire wheat like plantation. And so you have to figure out how to put things to make other things, and then you get those things, and then you can put those in certain ways. It's really good. I ended up playing it like off stream too because it was so good and so chill, and I really, really enjoyed it a lot. That was a very different, very good game if you like city builders. It's very cool. Space for Sale, another city builder, but you're literally trying to build up a planet for people to live on, for aliens to live on. And so you find like hot springs and turn them into like water parks and stuff like that. And you find like big things of fruit, and so you can put like a nutrition, a nutrient pull from it and stuff like that. It's a cute little game. I really liked it a lot, and that's definitely a game that I would pop onto just to kind of chill and work on. And yeah, it's really neat. You can like name the planet whatever you want. So yeah, that was a very, very good one. I would look into that if you like city builders. I'm gonna save that one. Riven. I finished Riven, but I'm still not finished with Riven. I got 2 really bad endings. Because of course I did. I got 2 bad endings. We were laughing so hard because Riven brings in like all the old Riven fans. And so it was so funny because I had a few people there who had played the original Riven and now they played the remaster. And we were laughing so hard, especially at the second one. They were like, really? You got the second bad ending? And I was like, of course I did. That's like so on brand for me. But yeah, so I'm still working on it to try and get the good ending. And I am like enthralled. They did such a great job remastering it. Again, Cyan, thank you so much for the game. Like, they fucking nailed that remaster. It's beautiful. Like, it's stunning. And they did change some stuff about the game, and I highly, highly recommend if you like the original Riven to get the remaster. It's really stunning and really well done. Very, very well done. Shift 87. It's an anomaly game, like Spot the Anomaly. And it was really fun. It's fast. It's a quick game. Very quick game. But you go through a scenario and you study it and you look at everything, and then you go through the next iteration of it to see what's different. And then if you get the right thing, if you pick the right thing, then you go to the next part and you pick the next thing that's different. You go to the next part and pick the next thing that's different. And then once you're done with that, you get sent to a whole different scenario. And it's quick, it's fun. Definitely had some jump scares. And it's creepy, and the atmosphere is really great. And I definitely recommend it if you're looking for like a nice, short, quick, beautiful game. That was fun. That was a good one. Vampire Therapist. I've talked about this game, and I will continue to talk about this game because it is one of the best visual novels I've ever played in my life. The dialogue, the voice acting, the issues you encounter as a therapist, the kink, that game is, even if you're not into visual novels, I highly recommend. I'm telling you right now, it is not easy though, because you get called out. Like, I'm doing this game and I'm like, who needs therapy? I have Vampire Therapist. Like, literally, it's calling me out on things, and it's like, well, why do you do it that way? And I'm like, I don't know why I do it that way. Like, this is just how I do it, And it's amazing because they really did a great job encompassing therapy and working through things. And why you do things and how to change it, and it's pretty amazing. I will not stop talking about Vampire Therapist. I probably have like one more stream until I'm done with the game, but it is I highly recommend. Super fun. It's a super fun game.
It looks hysterical.
Yeah, it's such a great game. I can't say it enough. It is. We laugh so hard the entire time because we're like, it's just so well done. And Matthew Mercer is one of the voice actors too, which is pretty cool. Just such a great game. I got Nobody Wants to Die from Deep Silver, and I wasn't sure how it was going to be. And this game is fucking fantastic. Like, this game is fucking fantastic.
Like, so Blade Runner.
It is Blade Runner. So you are a cop who is no longer on the force, but you manage to get yourself back on the force, and you get put on a case, but you're literally supposed to go and just do one quick thing, but you start investigating and you start seeing something's wrong. And the way you investigate, like, you have this thing on your wrist and you're able to rewind time, fast forward time. And then once you hit the right spot, you can analyze. And once you analyze, you're able to see things, and you're able to see, use a UV light on blood. And it is so fucking good. And the voice acting's amazing. And the game runs really well. And I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. It was one of those games like, yeah, sure, I'll cover it. I'll cover it once. Well, I'm playing it tomorrow because I want to get through this game.
It looks awesome.
It's fucking fantastic. And I feel like nobody knows about it. And it's fucking great. It is a really good sci-fi detective game. And I am already in love with it. And I just started it. I mean, it's fantastic. Highly recommend. Nobody Wants to Die.
Really fucking cool.
Yep, absolutely astounding. I got early access to Deathbound. I played it. I think it came out on the 8th. It's the 8th today?
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out today. I played it yesterday. It is, if you like Souls-like games, highly recommend. It is a party-based Souls-like. So you can switch your character to different people that you have in your party, and they all have different abilities. You start off with like basically like a holy warrior. He's basically like he's just a warrior type guy with a sword, shield, like a Templar type dude. And you end up picking up characters along the way, and you can switch to them like a thief, and you can backstab with her, and you have a crossbow, and then you come across an essence mancer. And they're all called essences. You pick up different essences. You pick up an essence mancer, and he is basically like a warlock type character. And you learn about their stories, and that's how you gain points you find parts of their story throughout the game, and that's how you get points to put into their skills, is by watching their story. And it runs like any other Souls, like you save at the save points, you spend your points there to level up. If you die, you have to go back and reclaim all of your points. It's and it ran really well, like really well. And the game is beautiful. It's so crazy because you start off as this Templar, and everybody that you're playing, all these essences are very old looking, like it looks like back in the day, but everything around you is tech. So it's really cool. Like, really different Souls-like, really cool. Combat felt fantastic. All 3 of the characters that I played so far, the combat felt fantastic. I will be going back to that. I really liked it a lot. That was
I think the game's gonna actually do well, even though there was like zero noise really about the game prior to its release. But yeah, I mean, they nailed it with the release strategy. They got all the big Souls streamers to hop on it and do release day streams of it. So I've since the first time I saw the article about Miss Mika, the girl that beat Souls games with a fucking DDR dance pad.
Yeah,
I followed her
yes.
channel, which is just blown up. I mean, now when she streams, like 4,000 people in there. So they got her to play that one today. So I got to see a little bit of it this morning. Yeah,
It's pretty
it looks
amazing.
solid.
Yeah, it's
You know,
great.
it's like a
Yeah,
good
I really liked it a lot.
midline game, and the timing's right because people have had time to get through Shadow of the Erd Tree. So
Yep. So now I left my favorite one that I played this week for the end that I'm sure nobody's heard of. It's a 2.5D side scroller, so picture Little Nightmares 2. And it's called Venture to the Vile. And it is beautiful. Beautiful. It's simple in terms of like, it's not overly complex, but it looks beautiful. And the story so far is really intriguing and really good. And it plays well. I just got my first power by beating the first boss, which you get a double jump from beating this big bunny boss. He's like a big bunny that's like corrupted. And it was a hard fight. It was tough. It's a roguelite. And it is fucking fantastic. I really love it. Like the art style is so beautiful, and I feel like it's another one of those games that like not enough people know about, especially if you like the 2.5D. Highly recommend. Huge thanks to Cut to Bits. I was not expecting this. I played the demo, and then I was commenting on their TikToks because they have a TikTok account and they're always posting stuff. And I commented and I was like, this game is amazing. The demo was fantastic. And then they shot me a message on TikTok, a private message, and they were like, hey, do you want the game? And I was like, fuck yes. And so
hook me up.
Yes, because I love the demo, and I played it and I was like, god damn, this game is good. Like it's a good indie, beautiful, it's a loved game, and I highly recommend. I think that was my favorite of this. I mean, other than Riven. Riven's like in its own little territory, but out of all the games I played this week, I think Venture to the Vile was probably one of my favorite because aesthetically and just gameplay wise, it was really fun. Really nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. So there you go.
Well, that was a big old episode for y'all. Took 3 weeks in the oven, but boom, shablam, there it is. I'll not make any promises. I'm not promising like I normally do. That we'll be back next week. I'm really going to be a little bit more selective, moving forward, quality over quantity kind of thing. Because I can tell you all as somebody that doesn't do this as their full-time job and has the luxury of not having to do this as her full-time job, that the slow season is the fucking worst. So you have a lot to chew on from us this week. We could be back again next week. If not, I've kind of floated the idea of being bi-weekly until things kind of get up and moving with a little bit more regularity. Just nobody's talking, nobody's doing anything. Microsoft didn't do anything dumb this past week, so
that we know about.
Give them time.
It's but Bungie was stealing the thunder, but it's like I don't feel like fucking talking about layoffs. I mean, let's be real. That's so enough people do that. You don't need that here. We're just gonna talk about video games and cool stuff that's going on, and we'll see if we believe that Johnny's not gonna be watching this Borderlands movie. I highly doubt that he can contain himself. So stay away from the theater to see Jack Black as Claptrap. His dream.
That's what I've always wanted.
His dream has come true. Jack Black is Claptrap. What more could a boy ask for in this world?
That's right.
So we could be back again next week with another great episode of the Power Gamer Podcast for you to enjoy. Until that time, I'm Mike Dawson.
And I'm Johnny Poulos.
And I'm Kim. Haven't stopped packing Ponticello.
Tune in next time. Take care.
Catch y'all on the flip-flop.
Oh, yeah.
It will.